Hello pilots and welcome to Season 4 of Flight Academy, brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil. Full format rules and lists are in the description below, and you can see all the lists in the video linked in the top right hand corner of the screen now. But joining me for this we have...
Hey guys, it's Andy.
Hey Andy, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you on the table and also on the commentary team. So lovely to see you.
Oh, thanks for inviting me along. Yeah, I enjoyed the previous commentaries I've done. It's nice chance to have a chat about the games and nice way to spend an evening.
Absolutely, and sizing up your opponents for future. I know we've played all the games, but it allows you to really go back and just see what you could have done better or what went really well to remember it for next time. But we are in the final 4 games before the top cut. So for some players it's very much all to play for other players it's all about pride, but we have myself versus Josh and we are both playing for a top 4 slot, so this should be a good game. Josh is our rookie of the year. He has been playing so well considering this is his 8th ever game of X-Wing, and all of them have been Flight Academy. Is absolutely impressive how he's done.
Oh yeah, he's done great, and I think coming in as the perceived underdog, he's sort of the people's champ in a sense, isn't he? Everyone's sort of rooting for him, which is nice. I think it's a good encouragement for him to get into the game, and as you've said before in a lot of your other videos, it's a great format actually for beginners to come into the game.
Yeah, because there's less to think about with, obviously, the previous 3 seasons, only 1 ship, and in this one, only 2. So it's a lot easier, and what I think is really fun is I do like Josh's list. It's a list that not necessarily a beginner would normally go for. You'd expect them to have like 2 ships the same, or some of the more well-known pilots, but Cavill, great choice, and Josh Darrow, surprisingly good fun with an interesting ability that's not triggered often, but has worked out quite well.
Sure. And talking about beginners and doing the unexpected, I certainly didn't expect the turn 2 Talon roll there.
No, that was quite an interesting one. I think Josh had been sort of watching some of my other games when he wasn't playing, and I think he knew I had a habit of zipping down the board as quickly as possible, so I think he wanted to use both ships to come around the obstacle to try and disrupt me a little bit. So when I saw that, I was a bit like, I'm not sure if that's a good move or if that's a very smart play, but we will have to see how that pans out for him. But Cavill is a scary beast.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can see his thinking pattern here, but I guess on Flight Academy with the reduced board size, he's got to be careful because potentially sitting there with no tokens is quite vulnerable. Although Cavill, perhaps a more favourable target for you in this engagement.
Yeah, I mean, for me coming into this, I'm kind of wary of Josh Darrow because I know that the Kirax is a good ship and I really like the Kirax, but Cavill is the one that I was most concerned about because that turret is quite scary. So coming into this, my first thought was I want to get Cavill out of the way as quickly as possible. And also I kind of didn't want initiative most of the time because then Cavill knows where I'm going to be and can rotate his arc if needed. So ideally I wanted Josh to have initiative so I didn't have to worry about that as much. But it doesn't always pan out that way.
What was was that blank out on the attack?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a blank out on the attack, unfortunately. Jedi are tricky when they're not up close. So it's easy for them to... They need to either have the bullseye or get in close, unfortunately. But it looks like that's a shield down on Cavill there. So a good start. Not enough, but a good start. So Josh actually got initiative there, which I'm happy with.
Oh, that doesn't look like it's going to fit, if that's a hard two. Oh, it's a 2-bank. There we go. You picked up the wrong template. Then the early turnaround is not... Well, I don't know. It's unlikely to have a shot now. I don't know.
Well, you never know. Obviously, it depends on where I end up going. Because right now, I'm not going to be going straight because you've got the obstacle there. So I'm going to have to commit to one way or another. Possibly seeing that Josh Derry's going there, I might just commit that way and hope to catch him, which it looks like I have. And I'm currently out of Josh Derry's arc, which is... I'm okay with that. Got to be careful though with Cavill. I would say I'm hoping for a bump, but I don't think Cavill's going to be going fast enough for me to get a bump there, because even a too hard would put him in a really nice position to catch either of my Delta 7s.
Oh, that's
aggressive.
Move.
That is aggressive and very tight. Possibly thinking Cavill's not in a great position to see if I can take Josh Derry down as quickly as possible, but that's 7 health there to do. That's a tall order.
Yeah, both of his ships are pretty chunky. Oh, and he has opted to go this way. Okay.
Yeah, that hull upgrade on both of them is a really good shout. And even on, like, Josh Derry's 5 and 1 normally, and he's got a really good stat line. Like, the Kirax is... It's disappointing that the Kirax isn't actually standard yet, because I love that ship, and I'd like to see more of it.
Yeah, I recall in one of the previous videos you was comparing it to sort of the Scum sort of version of the X-Wing, almost just sort of bread and butter sort of starfighter for the faction.
Yeah, and that's how I used to feel it was, and with it not being in there at the moment, it's a bit of a shame, but fingers crossed we get it back. Not a bad shot there. Shield and hull down on Josh Stero from Adi Gallia's shot.
Oh,
Bending the focus.
Nice. It's a lot of damage coming in.
Oh no, spending the force actually. Saving that focus for defense. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Down to 3 hull there. Big shots coming there. But what can will do, he's got that focus as well. That's huge. And there is a brilliant evasion trigger on Obi-Wan.
That's a lot of red dice though.
Yeah. Only to lose the shield. Although I will point out, I think I probably should have just used the focus there rather than a force, because I saved the focus for that reason. So foolish.
You had bloodlust from the attack.
I mean, if I had Shakti with him helping to save that focus, it might have made sense. But it's easily done.
This is going to be a difficult turn for Josh Stero because he's not really got nowhere to go.
No, especially being I3, he's going to have to go first. So that 2 talent isn't going to fit. So he's probably going to have to sort of get out of the fight for a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't know your opinion on it, Phil, but when I played Josh, I thought he had made a mistake by setting his ship off to a sort of unorthodox angle, but actually he said he was advised to do that. But I find it quite difficult to fly a ship when you're not on your kind of standard 90-45 degree sort of angle, you know. I think it's difficult to sort of predict where you're going to be.
It can be quite tricky, and you do tend to find that a lot of players will set up. I mean, for myself, I normally set up at a like the straight on or 90 degrees. I don't really tend to do the 45-degree angle either. But I know what you mean. That sort of like offset angle is something we see a lot from Ben actually, and it works for him. He's quite obviously a competent player, and I think that's where he was speaking to myself and Ben a lot prior to this, just to sort of get a bit of an idea. And I think that may be where he got the idea from. And clearly, it's done well for him because at this point he is second in the rankings. So it's worked well for him. Again, I think having Cavill as well is a really good, strong ship to have for a beginner player. So it has worked.
Yeah,
and the double dead man switch is just brilliant.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
See, where is Cavill going? Ooh, I don't think he expected me to turn around there, but he's caught in both Obi-Wan and Addy's arc, which I like.
The great thing about Cavill, though, being high initiative, sometimes it doesn't really matter where he goes, does it? Because he can just rotate his arc anyway and have a shot. Oh, that's
very aggressive, and I would say the wrong option. Purely
because he's given you a bullseye there, hasn't he? Or did he not? Is he giving you two bullseyes?
He's given me double bullseye there.
Yeah, I think
he's put me in bullseye for Addy and Obi. Fortunately, he doesn't trigger Foresight because that's when you do the maneuver, not a barrel roll or boost. But I now have a Marksmanship live as well. I don't have target locks on him because I've already spent them, unfortunately. But I've still got the Force. I can go quite. Fingers crossed, I get strong dice here.
Yeah,
but
that's
also the same. Yeah,
that's going to be a lot of dice.
He's put himself like not right by the board edge, and that is unfortunate. A lot of focus is there, but I'm just spending all of the Force, and that is hit crit crit. That shield all through on there, so it's double crit. And Panic Pilot is one of those. There's 3 stress at the moment.
Oh,
and a loose stabilizer, and he's pointing at the board edge. That's not good.
Which way is his arc facing?
It's facing towards Obi-Wan.
Okay.
And another spending all the Force is gone here, going super aggressive into Cavill, and that's another hit crit crit.
Wow.
Another Panic Pilot. And a fuel leak.
I mean, he's... That's just... I'm surprised you had enough tokens, Phil.
We did actually have to steal some from the other table.
This reminds me of the old end of version 1 with the Rebel Astromech, where you could take a stress to give your opponent a stress, and you just have a red like D20 behind you.
or you'd have Tycho, who would just have you'd line the stress up as like a map of where he'd been.
Oh, like a stressed moldy crow.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. 2 evades there. Obi-Wan just...
Oh. He needed to get something back there, because that was an aggressive barrel roll in, and it didn't pay off.
It was very aggressive. Like I said, he's got loose stabilizer and fuel leak at the moment. I mean, I can just get away from Cavill and not really care at this point, but there is a trick about to come out, and it's a cluster mine. And that's in quite an awkward position.
All that stress, though, he's pretty much out of the game now, because he's not going to be able to turn around. He's not going to be able to rotate his arc.
Yeah.
You're very lucky if he gets a shot.
It is going to be very tricky for Cavill now, which, I mean, I've done what I wanted to do, which is kind of nullify Cavill. I can just sort of go off and be like, right, let's go after Josh Stereo now. Possibly Cavill might take himself off the board with loose stabilizer, or just be out of the fight. but I can now concentrate on Josh Darrow. But let's see if that cluster mine is going to impact me much. It's a tricky one to get past, and
would that trigger?
I went slower. If Josh Darrow is in range and I take damage from that cluster mine, I've got to roll for it first, and I've taken one, and yeah, that will trigger. That will trigger Josh Darrow's ability. So the marker that I put up got knocked, unfortunately. Luckily, because the bombs are there, we just reline him up with the bomb.
Oh, clever.
It's quite nice. But yeah,
I do like the thought there behind that move that Josh has done.
I mean, it's the right time to do it. If I'd have gone faster, it wouldn't have been such an issue. I don't think I was expecting Josh Darrow to like bomb it so far away, to be honest. But it has given him a nice opportunity to get a bit of a kill steal. And fortunately, brilliant evasion coming to my rescue once again.
I mean, it's going to be tough for him to put damage on range 3 onto one of the deltas with your force and whatnot.
Well, Obi-Wan now has no force left. So he's in a prime spot to get hit. Unfortunately, looks like I needed to boost to get out of the way so that Addy could actually fit her move in, and that's not my dial. I've got dial covers on. How can I miss that? Sorry, Josh. I now know what Cavill is doing, but it's not going to be much.
I don't think Cavill had many choices, did he?
No, it was do a straight maneuver or take some damage. He wasn't in a good position, but to be honest, Obi-Wan cleared the cluster mine so that Addy could get through there. Oh, fortunately, it looks like Obi-Wan had his target lock on Josh Darrow, so that's okay. It's not so bad having to do the boost then.
Oh, I think maybe you'll be taking out Josh Darrow before you can shoot. Actually, that would be nice. He's taking the damage, so I believe he's doing a turn move. He's doing a bank, so that triggers the loose stabilizer, puts him down to 1 health. Obviously, loose stabilizer fixes itself after you take the damage, so he does now have sort of his whole dial available. I say sort of loosely. Yeah, he's out of the game at this stage, isn't he?
Yeah. I just need Obi-Wan to survive, because that's a nice spot where Josh Darrow can steal some points, but that's spending the force for 2 hits. And
that 2 going through?
Getting both through. Oh, can nice. Obi-Wan do it? And look at that, outside of range 1 as well, so I won't have to worry about a dead man switch.
And the bullseye. That's got to be it.
No force or focus to modify, but got the target lock, so it's going to be tough. Come on, target lock. Oh, just the 1.
1's enough.
1 is enough. But not today.
Oh.
Not today. He gets that evade. Getting a chance.
Could be in trouble.
Yeah, this is a scary position for Obi-Wan to be in right now. Only got 2 health, nothing to modify. He either needs 2. Oh, that could be enough. There is an evade there. Oh, sorry, 2 evades. One of them was so shiny I couldn't see it.
Yeah, I couldn't work out that second one with the glare, but still on the board anyway. That's the main thing.
It was a scary moment there. A scary moment of forceless Jedi on only 2 health. I was a bit concerned. But It's going to be a bit tricky to catch Josh there now, because what is he going to do?
He's very unlikely to have a shot.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan should be safe.
He's also got to try and
shot back.
Yeah, he's got to try and consider his position to see if he can not be shot as well.
Is he predicting a slope to your right, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, a slope to the right is going to be bad. Oh, hello. Hello, Careful. That's the board edge there. If we can get some dials down quick for the next round, possibly. Oh, it was a sloop. I saw that 2 bank and I thought, oh, perfect, but then a bump from Addy. So we'll have the roll for damage, but I don't... She's not going to have a shot. That arc is just out, so that is actually going to be that there.
Oh, that's an unfortunate end to that game, because I felt like you deserved to get one of those ships off.
I mean, it would have been nice, but you know what? Regardless, it was actually a really good fun game against Josh. I mean, I do feel sorry for Cavill. I did go in quite heavy-handed on him, but I think with Cavill you kind of have to. And if I didn't go in heavy-handed, I would have been in a lot of trouble. But it was a great game against Josh. And you know what? At this point, he has secured his spot in the top 4 admirably. So he's done really well. So he is definitely in the top 4 at this point. No one can actually catch him and knock him off that. And I think he really deserves it. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the knockouts.
Yeah, no, he did well. I think that barrel roll. I think that barrel was a mistake, and I'm sure when Josh watches the game back, he'll realise that as well. But as you say, he's doing fantastic to get through to the final as it is. So yeah, well done, Josh.
I look forward to seeing what he can do with a full 20-point list as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get him round to having a full game at some point. But that's just game 1 of round 9. We've got 3 more games before the top cut. So Andy, thank you so much for joining us for that one.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Anytime. And guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.